crowded field and plurality?
Well, I think after the people of South Carolina, the next 2 weeks, they take a look at the candidates and they'll make the right decision. I don't think they want someone who has killed jobs in South Carolina on the altar of making more money for themselves and their company. I think the people of South Carolina want a true conservative who's got a track record of being a conservative, and I do. I mean, Mitt said, look at my record as governor, and we have, and it's abysmal. Raised taxes by 20%, was 47th in job creation while he was governor. That's not a record that you want to run on. And his other remark is, elect me president because I've been in the private sector and I've created jobs. Well, we're starting to see maybe not a honest assessment of what he did. He was also involved with the destruction of a lot of jobs right here in South Carolina. Ask the people in Gaffney or in Georgetown if they think that's what they want in the White House. My record of job creation is working with the legislature to create a climate where taxes and regulation allow for the private entrepreneur to have the confidence that they're going to be able to keep more of what they work for and create jobs, and that's how you do it. I'll put my record up against Governor Romney's any day, happily.
What are you referring to when you say there hasn't been an honest assessment with regard to Romney's?
Well, I think when you look at all the jobs that they've destroyed by these going in and restructuring these companies, taking their big management fees, and then the people whose jobs have been pitched over the side, I think that's an assessment that hadn't been done yet, and I think it's going to happen over the course of the next week.
Any disappointment about not being in New Hampshire tonight?
This weather, I think South Carolina is a great place to be.
Governor, the word vulture that you used, was that referring to bait?
Sure. I mean, that's exactly what I was making. They sit there and they wait until they see a distressed company, and then they swoop in and pick the carcass clean and then fly away.
So Governor, a lot of people have said that this is just how the free market works, that this is how free market enterprise works. How do you respond to that?
Well, I disagree. I think that I don't think the free market works with $7.7 trillion moving from the Treasury to Wall Street firms as the way the free market works either. And I think that we have allowed these greedy people on Wall Street to take advantage of both small companies that may be going through some tough times, and instead of trying to work with them to find a way to keep the jobs and to get them back on their feet, it's all about how much money can we make, how quick can we make it, and then get out of town and find the next carcass to feed upon.
You say that you want to stop corruption on Wall Street and not allow this kind of thing, but you also want to repeal Dodd-Frank. So what exactly would you do to clean up what's not running
We got plenty of regulations.
honestly on Wall Street?
We got plenty of regulations. We just have we don't have a Congress that is. I mean, you got a Congress that's in bed with Wall Streeters. When you look at Barney Frank and when you look at the people who did away with the oversight of Glass-Steagall and then go to work for Wall Street firms, I mean, you don't have any other objective way to look at it other than to say that we've got plenty of regulations. We don't have a Congress nor an administration that's been in place that will actually go focus on these.
But what would you do to stop corruption on Wall Street?
I'd use the regulations that we have in place. Dodd-Frank just institutionalized what's going on. Dodd-Frank is a monstrous piece of legislation that's doing nothing but costing the consuming public because of the cost of compliance that comes along with it. Listen, I don't know how many agencies that we have in the federal government that are there to make sure that all of these banking entities, I think we need to have a serious look at substantially reducing all of the agencies that are there that are supposedly protecting the consumer. They're not protecting the consumers. You look at Fannie and Freddie, and both of those were institutions that were enriching themselves. They weren't protecting any consumers. So I think you have people like Mick Mulvaney, Jim DeMint, who understand how to reduce the size of government and actually put regulatory agencies in place whose job it is to protect the people of this country. And we'll be a lot further down the road of protecting against the type of fraud and corruption that we've seen in Washington and Wall Street.
South Carolina would seem to be the perfect state for a Southern governor. Are you going to win here, and if not, are you going back to Texas?
I'm not here to come in second.
So if you lose here, you're going to go back to Texas, or?
Well, you just have to wait until the 21st. That's trying to call the game in the first quarter, and we just took the kickoff.
What regulations?
Win, though? You said you wanted a second win. What do you need out of here to get a second
Listen,
win?
I'm not going to play the game of what ifs and what have you. Our intention is to win, and I can't tell you anything other than that. I mean, that's like asking the Coach Saban last night. You know, what's your intention? You're going to go back to? Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that game up in front of you there.
What regulations were you talking about the Obama administration